Hey guys, and welcome to Blaze Talk. My name is Mason, and I'm joined today by Joseph Daly.
Thank you for having me, Mason. I appreciate it.
No problem. Today we are talking about the presidential election that took place last week. As we all know, Donald Trump won the presidency with 290 electoral votes, while Hillary Clinton only got 218. And I know that a lot of America was shocked when the results came out, and I would personally like to say that I was shocked, but deep down inside I sort of had a sinking suspicion that Donald Trump was going to win. What was your immediate reaction to what happened?
I think that my immediate reaction, along with the rest of the country, was, what just happened? You know, I think the Trump campaign really had everything lined up, and they were sure that they were going to win, but also, so did the Clinton campaign until they canceled their fireworks show the night before. We won't get off into that. But I think for him to pull out with 290 electoral votes was not what the country expected.
It was shocking to see how many electoral votes, because nobody even expected him to win, let alone by how many electoral votes he won by. So what do you think went wrong for Hillary Clinton? Because everyone thought she had it in the bag.
Well, I think that if you look at the election results and even the popular vote, I don't know how to exactly explain what went wrong, because when you have a candidate who won the popular vote by nearly 400,000 votes, but you have the other candidate who won the election, you know, it's kind of hard to explain that. However, you know, it doesn't change what the election outcomes are.
I think it came down to a lot of the swing states, because I know for one, was up to the last minute watching Pennsylvania and Michigan, trying to see what those electoral votes were going to look like, whether they were going to go to Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton.
And it took them all night to call Florida.
Yeah, it did take them a while, because I remember sitting there like, when are y'all going to call Florida already?
Are we going to call it today? Or are we going to call it next week? Or like, where are we going?
And I think that a lot of people were outraged with the popular vote, because a lot of people will say, well, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. It's ridiculous that she didn't get the presidency. This is what the people wanted, and that the Electoral College is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, is that the American public, I think the majority of the American public doesn't quite understand the Electoral College system, you know, how it works. And the goal when campaigning and running for the office of the president is not to win the popular vote. You know, contrary to popular belief, it's to win the electoral vote. Because
the whole purpose of the Electoral College is so that one state that has more of a population than other states doesn't overrule another state that has less of a population. Yeah. And I think when a lot of people saw that, they were just completely upset and completely outraged. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of these recent protests, because as we all know, there have been a lot of protests happening in a lot of states across the country. Even here in Birmingham, we've been seeing some protests because of what happened with Donald Trump winning the presidency. What are your thoughts on these protests?
I think that we're being ridiculous, honestly. Yeah. You know, and that's not. I try to be as unbiased as I can when talking about the election. But I think that it's ridiculous. I don't think, and maybe they would have, maybe the Trump supporters would have gotten up the next day had they lost and thrown anti-Clinton rallies, but I don't know that would have been the case. I feel like we have a case of sorry losers, but here's the thing is that, you know, we talked about the Electoral College and the popular vote. These people are all outraged because they won the popular vote, but not the Electoral College vote. But like I said before, you know, that's not the goal. The goal is not the popular vote, it's the electoral vote. So, and there's so many claims and so many new rumors that we want to change the system and that we're going to change how America's done it for 200 years, and we're not.
I think what's disappointing me, especially with all these protests, is that showing how divided our country has become ever since the election results. We do not need to be divided at this time. We need to be united as a country, because if we're going to make it through the next 4 years, we need to show that we have strength and that we are together, not what the immaturity and the ridiculousness that we're seeing because of these protests.
I completely agree.
And so what is your prediction for America in the next 4 years, seeing what we have to put up with essentially for the next 4 years?
Well, I'll be honest with you, that's going to be hard to call. You know, there were a lot of campaign trail promises that Donald Trump made that may or may not come to fruition during his presidency, and a lot of it depends on appropriations by the House and the Senate. So we're just going to have to buckle in, strap in, and get ready to go for a bumpy ride. And I think that we would have gotten that from either campaign. Or from either candidate, rather.
I agree. I mean, we're seeing, even in this past couple of days, Donald Trump's actually backed up some of the things that he said about, you know, the wall and, you know, abortion, things like that. a lot of these candidates, when they're running for office, are going to say a lot of things to get elected. And I think what Donald Trump is going to do, he's going to change a whole bunch of his policies. In my opinion, that's what's going to happen in the next 4 years.
He may not. We will find out for sure.
We're going to find out.
We got 4 years to sit back and watch.
Yeah, I know, and it's going to be interesting. That's all I have to say.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining me for Blaze Talk today.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, so I am here with Chad Freeman. Welcome to Blaze Talk, Chad.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. So, Chad, what is your initial reaction to the presidential election that happened last week and all the turn of events that occurred?
Well, I mean, it's a time in America that always gonna like divide the country. You know, election time is always a time that pull on like the emotions and the fire inside citizens. But I think this election was a little different because it was kind of like two extremes. You know what I'm saying, going against each other. I just think like the election was an election, but I mean, we have a president now, so I think that's something we just gonna have to continue to advocate and work together to try to get things done in this country.
So do you believe that a lot of people, because a lot of people are saying, you know, Trump's not my president, stuff like that. Do you think we owe him the right to do what he's going to do as president, to give him a chance as president?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think that some of his views are very, very not only sexist but racist and kind of classist. So I feel like if you feel like the unrepresented group, then he's not your president. Like, he's not my president. So I mean, he might be the president of the United States, but I know what's right and I know what's wrong.
Very good. Well, thank you so much.
All right, no problem. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Blaze Talk. We'll see you next time.